Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a review and unboxing of the brand new Anastasia Beverly Hills x Jackie Aina collaboration. We're going to be going through the entire thing. I purchased this palette the moment that I came out, and if you guys have been in my channel for a little bit, you guys know that I really love Anastasia's palettes. I am a collector. I would consider myself a collector by now. This is my 8th palette that I've purchased from ABH, so I am a fan. And in this video, we are going to be going through the entire palette as well as walk you through the look that I have going on right now. In this release, I did purchase the PR package that was available for us to purchase. I really liked the box that it came in, so I went with the PR option instead of just purchasing the palette alone. And in this video, once again, I will be going through all of the shades, how they applied, how I came up with this eyeshadow look, and so on. But before we get started, and as always, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel before you leave. And without further ado, if you want to see how I created this makeup look and what my thoughts were for the ABH x Jackie Aina collaboration palette, then please stay on and keep on watching. Alright guys, so first things first, I did want to once again mention that I did order the palette the moment that it was released that Tuesday, I believe around 9 a.m. my time, Arizona time. I ordered it, and again I placed my order for the PR version of the palette, which was around $58. It was a little bit more than the actual palette, and in there you got the entire thing. You got the PR box with it and a little makeup pouch, which I'll show you in a little bit. But I just wanted to go over really quick over the box, like the actual box that it came in, because it was it was busted. It came with kind of like messed up on the corners as if it had been tossed around. And I know ABH, you got money. You can invest in a little bit prettier packaging, I believe. I don't know, just like the box that it came in, it was kind of beaten up, so I was kind of nervous about opening it and to see that maybe like the palette was broken or something like that. But luckily everything was good. Palette was good. Everything else was untouched and none of it came damaged, thank goodness. Alright, so inside the box it just came with some paper tissue, black paper tissue, and when it comes to the PR purchase, what you get in there, you get this makeup pouch. You get this makeup pouch and it is in the same color scheme as the actual box, and then you get the PR box, which when you open it up you get the palette inside. So that's all that it comes for an extra, I guess, $10. Now in my opinion, and in just getting it in person, I feel like I wish that the makeup pouch wouldn't have been there. I kind of thought it was gonna be a little bit smaller and that I was gonna be able to like carry my makeup in it in my bag, but it's way too big for me to carry it around. I'm not sure what I'm gonna put in there or store in there, so I wish the makeup bag wasn't in there. I am happy with the box because the purpose of why I purchased the actual PR box was because eventually I'd like to have something in my background for my videos where I can display just different makeup that I love. So that's why I purchased the box. It is a beautiful box. It is a sturdy box, so I feel like the makeup bag is kind of unnecessary, and if I'm being honest, it's kind of flimsy and it's kind of made out of not very good quality. It's just kind of like a plastic that they put a zipper on there, they pressed the Anastasia logo in there, and in my opinion it was kind of unnecessary. I wish they would have just given like the box, the palette, and that's it. I would have paid for that. I felt like the bag was a little bit unnecessary. So once again, I got the PR box. When you open it, you get the palette in its cardboard box, and then on the top of the box you get the Anastasia logo right there. It is a beautiful box. I love how it is displayed. And then here is the cardboard component that the palette comes in, and the exterior is embossed with that snake skin pattern. And then here's a look at the back of the box with ingredients and such. And then once you take out the palette from the cardboard box, this is what it looks like. It is a faux leather. It is a snake print in there, very holographic. Everything in about the packaging is holographic. It has like a shift from like green and purple and blue, and the letters in there are pressed and they are a metallic rose gold, which if you follow Jackie Aina, which I do, she loves her rose gold. So it kind of makes sense that she chose that color for the letters. You get her initials in the very front, and of course the Anastasia Beverly Hills logo. And then when you open it up, these are the shades that come in the palette, and as always it does come with that little duo ended brush, which is actually really good, and I do get a lot of use out of these brushes. And now as far as the color scheme goes with the palette, again, I am a subscriber of Jackie Aina and I've been watching her for a while now, and if you look at the palette, it is her, especially that shade Sponsored, that kind of like a duochrome green color on there, the metallic red, the purples, those are colors that are so her. And if you've seen her, some of like the most beautiful looks that she's done on her channel, the makeup tutorials do include those colors. So I love that she really did put her personality in that color story of the palette, because as soon as you see it, you know it's her. And I'm gonna be honest, the very first time that I saw the palette, I was kind of like, oh, okay, I'm gonna skip this one. But then I saw the shade Sponsored, that duochrome green that's on there, and again, it's very her. I love that about it, and I wanted a shade like that, so that's why I purchased the palette. I gave in. I gave in, and now I own it, and now I can show it to you. And now let's go over the names of the shades. And here, starting with the top left corner, we have Soleil. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Then we have Supreme Pinker, Big Wig, Dualis. That's how she pronounces it. Then we have Credit, Lituation, Zam, Wiggless, Shookington, which I'm gonna start to use in my daily vocabulary, by the way. Then we have Trust Issues, Edges, Sponsored, and Ginger. And here are some arm swatches, just showing you how these colors apply on the arm. But alas, again, I'm not a super big fan of swatches, because I do believe that the best way that you're gonna know how these eyeshadows work is on the eyes. Alright, so now that you get a sense of the palette, we're gonna start applying our makeup as usual, starting with our foundation. And I wanted to go all out for this look, so I am applying a very thick full coverage foundation. I am using the Estee Lauder foundation combined with the L'Oreal Infallible Fresh Wear foundation. I will list everything in the description down below, so if you want to see something that you like that I am applying, everything will be listed down below. Then I followed up with some concealer. I am using the Tarte Shape Tape. Then I am applying some contour to the sides of the cheeks, to the tops of my temples. I am kind of like fast speeding through this, because of course the focus of this video, the reason that you guys are here, is to see of course how the palette works. So I did the complexion part of my makeup as usual, and then we're gonna move on to the eyes. Alright, so now that brows, highlight, and everything in between is done, baking is done, our face is set and ready to start working on the eyes. And the very first thing that we're gonna do is start out with the shade Ginger. So that is the very first shade that I'm working with, and I am taking this Morphe brush and just roughly applying it all over the crease as I usually do, and even switching to a bigger, fluffier brush. That way those edges are nice and blended out. We're just gonna go back and forth, and laying down that very first color. After that, we're gonna go in a little bit deeper, and we're gonna go in with the shade Edges and apply that color on top of the other one, and having that other color underneath is just gonna make it blend in a little bit easier. And then with that same brush, we're gonna apply that color to the lower lash line. And when I started applying this second color, I did notice some patchiness on my crease. You're gonna see when I lift my head up a little bit, you're gonna see some unevenness on my crease. So I'm not 100% convinced that these mattes are gonna be the smoothest as far as application goes. Once again, as you can see, when I lift my head up, I was getting a little bit of gaps in my application, especially like near the inner corner. You're gonna see that there was like some patchiness going on, and I even went with a smaller blending brush to try and like fill up those gaps, but I wasn't being super successful at that. So I'm gonna keep working with this palette and see if it's just something that maybe, because you guys saw that I didn't prime my eyelids, so maybe with a primer these mattes are gonna work differently, but I'm not sure yet. Alright, so after I laid out edges, I went in with a smaller blending brush, and right on the very crease I went in with the shade Credit, that dark brown shade. And again, just going back and forth, and then with a fluffier brush, just really taking your time to blend those edges as smoothly as possible. Alright, and this wouldn't be a video tutorial showing off the Jackie Aina palette without having a very bright inner corner. So for that, I went in with the shade Soleil, and I just went in with a pencil brush and just dotted it a little bloop on the very inner corner of the eye. As you can see, it is very blinding. Of course, she was gonna give us that pop for that inner corner. And then I took another pencil brush and took that dark brown color, once again Credit, to the lower lash line, as close to the lower lashes as possible, just to match those colors to the top lid and to add a little bit more smokiness to this eye look. Going back with a brush and fluffing out those edges, and then we're gonna start working on the lid. Now, of course, I wanted to use that color that I loved, the color that convinced me to purchase this palette, the shade Sponsored. I took that color. It's kind of like a shift from like a green and a brown. It has like a brown base to it, but then it has like that green metallic color. So I took a pencil brush and I started laying it down on the lid without any Fix Plus, and then I was gonna do just the lid, but then I decided to go for a halo eye. So I took that color and applied it to the inner portion of the eye and also to the outer V of the eye, as you can see. And I did eventually spritz my brush with a little bit of Fix Plus just to get an extra pop of metallicness to that color. And I did the same thing on the lower lash line. I applied that metallic color to the inner portion of the lower lash line and then to the outer portion, just to match that top lid. And I just went in and kept layering that color all the way up to the crease to get as much pop of color as possible. And then on the very center of the eye, just to get a little bit of pop in there, I went in with the shade Duolas. And so that shade is a very beautiful gold metallic. It's almost like a glitter. I really loved it. And I used again a pencil brush that has been spritzed with a little bit of Fix Plus. I applied it to the very center of the lid and to the bottom lash line as well. and I feel like it just gives a beautiful pop to the eye. And once the color on the lids is done, we're gonna go in with a little bit of eyeliner. I just took this black eyeliner and applied it to my waterline. And then took a brush, a clean brush once again, to fluff out those edges. And then after that, I went in with some liquid eyeliner and applied it to my lash line. I was gonna do a wing, but then I was too lazy and I didn't. That's all there was to it. And then I went in with a little bit of mascara to my lower lashes and to my top lashes. I am using the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. And then I went in with some falsies. These are some that I'm absolutely loving. They're from Kiss. And I will, once again, I will link them down below if you want to check them out. But they're so beautiful, fluffy, and they're so easy to put on. And of course, they're from the drugstore and they're super affordable. And that was it for the eyes. And of course, I did the other eye off of camera before moving on to the lips. Now for the lips, I am going for this super dark. This is from Milani Cosmetics, and it is the Amore Matte Metallic Liquid Lipstick. I believe that's the name, and I will put the shade of it in the description box below. But I absolutely love this color so much. It is a beautiful metallic, and I thought it would pair perfectly with these eyes. It is a very fall look, but I thought if we're gonna show off this palette, let's show it off right? So I went for this color. I thought it would be a beautiful pair for the eye look, and alas, this was the entire look all done. This is what it looks like. Again, I am showing off the ABH and Jackie Aina collaboration palette. I really love it. Again, the shimmers, I feel like the shimmers with the ABH palettes have gotten better since the Sultry palette. There's something to them where they're just extra reflective, and I don't know what's in them, to be honest, but they're just super beautiful. It doesn't have to be this palette, but if you want to try out those shimmers from ABH, I recommend this palette or the Sultry palette. The Sultry palette by far has been my absolute favorite ABH palette that they've done, so I do recommend that one. As far as this palette goes, the shimmers did not disappoint. I still want to try out that metallic red color, the metallic purple color in there, the shade Zam. It is, just judging it from the swatch itself, it is a different kind of shimmer. It's chunkier, and I can't wait to try that out all over my lid. I feel like it's gonna be a beautiful color. The matte, I did struggle a little bit. Again, I got that patchiness out of them. I don't know if it was because I didn't use a primer or what happened, but I do want to give them another shot because I wasn't too impressed with how they worked in this video. I did get a little bit of patchiness, but I feel like I made it work. I don't know if it's this palette by itself, because usually the mattes just work beautifully and they're buttery and they're easy to blend. So I'm not sure about that one. I will update you in the description box below, but that was my experience with the palette itself.